what we were talking about earlier on Monday. But he doesn't do that until he knows.
I have a question.
Sure.
Who gives you your messages?
Excuse me?
Who gives you your phone call messages? Because I've called several times and left a message for you to call me back, and you haven't returned my phone call yet.
I'll have to check. I don't know if I got them or not. When did you call or?
I called back in January and December and asked for callbacks and no callbacks.
I will check. I mean, if I got them, then I'll recall. I can't say that I called you back and I didn't get a response. I don't know, but we can check though on Monday.
Okay. I'm just concerned because my sister was killed back in September, literally down the street.
Very familiar with the case.
Are you?
I am very familiar.
Okay. So literally a drive-by, 22 shots were fired. And my sister was sitting in the car with my 17-year-old daughter with her. And she was killed in a drive-by in September. It's July. We have not had one phone call back about anything. We've been calling, we've been asking for help, for her property back, for a status, an update, something. We have nothing.
Sure. And again, as I spoke, I prefer not to get into specifics of the case.
Oh, I'm going to because this is my sister and this is.
You can.
Of course I can.
I think he means here in this forum to get into specifics. It may, but I mean, if they're doing the case, I'm not sure if that.
I don't know. And at this point, I am the oldest of 6 girls. I have nieces and nephews. I grew up in here. I've been here since 1993. I graduated from Killeen High School. I live in this neighborhood. I'm not safe. I don't feel safe. I don't feel like I can trust you guys to protect me and my kids, my parents. I don't trust you guys. And I may be speaking out of emotions, but my sister was 19 years old, innocent. And not only did we lose her, but I also lost a part of my daughter that day. My daughter was close with my sister, and for her to sit there and hold my sister's hand right as she's taking her last breath was not okay, because I lost her. My parents will never be the same. My family will never be the same. Her friends, her family, everybody will never be the same, and all we want is answers. I personally work at the newspaper. I do advertising there. I don't do reporting. But my company that I work for has had my back through this the entire time. They have helped me do stories to help try to bring it out. Anybody that knows something, speak about it. You came on TV the week that she died because a 5-year-old child was shot along with her grandmother. You went on TV and you said, "We know who you are. We are coming after you, and we will get you and we will catch you." We have no update on any of that since that happened.
Sure. I mean, I don't want to talk about a lot of specific cases, but I will touch on this. We did identify the 2 rival gangs, and I mentioned those earlier. And a lot of them have been prosecuted, and a lot of those cases are moving on without getting into a whole lot of specifics. So, yes, did we identify them? Did we know the people involved? And are we working hard on your case? Absolutely. I just minutes ago, right before I stood up, talked to my chief of detectives. We are reviewing the case literally right now so we can talk to Mr. Rodriguez first thing Monday morning and give him a full update. But yes, I mean, we are working hard on that case. And trust me, and I don't want to sound like I'm coming out hard. We deal with a lot of crime victims of all magnitudes, rape, robbery, murder. Yes, we do. But I will tell you this, man, as long as we have that case and there's something to follow up on, we're working it.
Well, how hard is it just for a phone call back saying, "Hey, this is what's going on"? I mean, and when we first met with the detective, she did say, we'll follow up. We'll let you know what's going on throughout the case. We'll let you know if we have somebody in that's what's it called? Of interest. There you go. And then we'll let you know if they get arrested. Just an update.
Let me speak to that real quick, Chief. And I think that I kind of addressed that before. These things happen in pockets of maybe personnel who are not
doing what they need to do.
Doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Don't let that be an indication of the entire indictment on the entire police force. Now, I understand where you're coming from, and as I heard Chief say, he's going to get with you. First thing Monday, he's working the issue of the communication effort.
Okay.
You're not the only person that I've heard to say, okay, they had less than perfect or less than expected interaction with the police when they call for certain things. Those things are being conveyed so that Chief can make the proper changes to his force as far as that engagement. When you pick up the phone and you need to you ask for something or you need to report something, that you're getting that. Okay, that doesn't happen overnight, because oftentimes he has to search for whoever it was that was the less than desirable person that he has in his department. So I would ask that you give us a smidget more of trust. Just now, if it doesn't meet your expectation at that point, because as you know, your particular situation, I'm just finding that out yesterday. Okay, and sure, it happened and it was put in the newspaper and it was a part of the crime spike that happened during that time. But personally, I'm just finding that out.
Yeah.
So in dealing with those situations, we do need some time to mesh out these certain situations. And I would just ask as a neighbor, as a representative, that you allow Chief to do the same.
And I'm going to, and I'll give the respect. And I've kept quiet. I mean, I've done little stories here and there, but I've kept quiet for 10 months.
I understand.
And
tough.
she's made, like I've said in every story, she's a number to the KPD. She's my sister.
Understood.
She's their daughter. She's a sister, a niece, an aunt. You know, a baby. She was 19 years old. She was just living her life. And so I will speak to the day I die on my sister, and she will not go as another unsolved murder in Killeen. And I think that's where the issue is yeah, crime's low, but how many unsolved murders are there? There's so many unsolved murders, and there's nobody speaking about it, and nobody's saying, this is what we're doing. It's like, oh yeah, all these murders happen, and then it goes quiet. No update. No, hey, we're working on this, we're doing this, we're doing that. And I think that's where the issue comes from, because the citizens don't have trust.
Communication.
In KPD. My neighbors, I've talked to them. They don't trust KPD, because when there's been issues and stuff, they've called and nobody shows up. Oh, we'll send somebody out. 6 hours later, nobody shows. So me being a citizen and basically growing up here, I don't trust KPD. And I have no trust in KPD, because not only with this situation, I have another family member who was a victim of domestic violence, and they know who did it. They caught them, and all KPD charged them with burglary of a habitat with intent to commit another crime. He almost killed my sister.
So every case has its own merits, and we can discuss that later. But I will tell you this as we close on this subject, is that one of the reasons that we don't like to put a lot of information for a person of interest, because there's this roller coaster of emotion that we try to avoid with remaining family members, because we have learned that sometimes we'll say, hey, we got somebody, we have a person of interest, and everybody, there's those expectations starting to rise, and then for whatever legal reasons, wrong person thought it was wrong, whatever the case may be, then we go back down. So our detectives are very careful in providing information unless it's solid. And I don't know if that's the case here.
No, and I understand that. It's not even calling and saying, hey, we have somebody interested. It's, hey, Mr. Rodriguez, I want you to know I'm still working Alondra's case.
Okay.
That's all. Because right now, to them and to us,
it's forgotten.
And just a common courtesy saying, she's not forgotten, we're still working it.
Absolutely.
That's all we want.
Ms. Rodriguez, we hear you. The communication. It goes back again to communication, being able to tell you what we're actively engaged in and what we're part of. And that goes for all staff and council. What we are a part of, what we're working on as a council, this is part of that reach out to say, hey, these are the things that we're doing. That's exactly why we're here today, on my part, from a council member's perspective. I hear you. More departments need to do that. Particularly, you're specifically talking about the KPD and your situation, and I'm sure Chief is doing. He's gonna do more, but he's doing things right now to even make that better.
And I'm going to give him the chance to do what he has to do, because I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, yeah, he did know, but I have to, it's my sister, and I have to, and not only, like I said, not just my sister. There was multiple families.
I really am sorry for you all's loss. If anyone who doesn't know, I ask that you take the time to get to know these neighbors and find out what their story is today. It's tragic, and I really do,
And I didn't know that there was groups and organizations like you told me about. Yeah. I had no idea.
Right, and that's my fault, because I obviously didn't do enough to let you know that these organizations are out there.
And now
So-
I know Jessica Gonzalez. I know her. I've known her for years, and I know her personally. And she's, because she can't be here, she called me this morning. She was like, "I got your back. Whatever you want, I will fight this fight with you, and we will get to the bottom of this." So knowing that I have somebody that's going to fight with me, and she's been wanting me to come to city council meetings, I wasn't ready. I think this was the step.
Okay.
And she's going to have my back, and I have plenty of where I work and who I know and businesses and organizations that are willing to stand behind me and fight with this and get to the bottom, not just for me, but for all the other victims that don't have answers.
Well, I think that part of the actual team that you just mentioned is right here in this room too, including Chief. I don't want to make this a them versus us, because really we all live together. He's responsible for, serve and protect, and the police, the public safety that we have. But we're all responsible for that to a certain extent. So just like you said, people are behind you and praying for you and supporting what you're doing. I'm one of those people, and I don't want to paint the picture that it's us and then it's this, because I know what these guys go through every day. And that the situation we're talking about will be addressed. I can promise you that.
I hope so.
Okay?
I hope so.
Chief, you probably may need to,
She had one thing.
you may need to correct my terminology here. I come to the city council every Tuesday night. Everybody in here needs to come, because that's where you learn what this young man is doing for our city. And he's doing a fantastic job, so is that young man over there. That's where you get all the information. Did I understand it correctly that we were going to get our own emergency? Because all the phone calls on the 911, correct me if I'm wrong, all of the 911 credit calls go to Belton to dispatch,
They
is
do.
that correct?
They do.
And if you don't, correct me if I'm wrong, if you don't have the police department's phone number, you need to become familiar with that number, the emergency and non-emergency phone line, am I correct?
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes, all of our 911, we have a shared emergency dispatch centers out of Belton, so if you call 911, all emergency calls go there. For, of course, non-emergency numbers, 501-8830 come to explain this.
Yeah, and if you would, real quick, Chief, just explain what you mean about non-emergency too, because that can take a toll on our,
Sure. Sure. So if you have an emergency, medical emergency, police emergency, you need emergency police medical service right away, call 911. And I would tell you, for the most part, you should probably use that number. If you have something more administrative, maybe something not as emergent, you want to talk to me, or you want to talk to a staff member, we have a switchboard at 501-8830 that would route some of those calls that maybe are not as emergent. And we have police officers, we have civilians there, and sometimes they will listen to you. They may say, "Hey, that's a 911 call," and then they'll switch it over to 911. So try not to get frustrated, because there's a certain protocol. When we answer the phone, they'll say, "Hello, what's your name? What's your address? What's the emergency?" Even though we're asking you questions, we are still getting things en route. So please don't get frustrated with that.
Do those people that answer the non-emergency and the KPD number, do they get like customer service training?
The 911 calls are handled by our Bell County.
No, the ones like the local ones. Do they get customer service? Like, are they police officers that answer the phone?
It's a mix of our police officers, and we have some civilians that answer.
Because I think that they need some like real harsh like empathy training and some customer service training, because it may not be emergency to them, but it may be emergency to the resident calling. And I think they just need a little bit more caring in their voice and not being so aggressive.
That is I just made a note that is on my Monday morning agenda to staff. Let's talk about phone etiquette. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That's okay, sir.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jose Rodriguez. My daughter was killed last year, September 7th. She died September 8th. On the Labor Day weekend, she was the third person that weekend that was killed. And like my daughter said, my life has changed. I've been a resident of Killeen for over 30 years, retired military, and now retired civilian. I already talked to Chief. I appreciate that. Thank you. You give me the opportunity. And like I told you, the big problem the police and the city council have is communication. You guys are on one word and we are in another word. Don't blame the media, don't blame anybody. Their responsibility. It's our fault. You wanna go us involved? I'm a father of 5 girls. I'm a grandfather of 6 kids. And I cannot be in every place behind them. When I moved to this place, because this place was safe. Yes, you got a tough job to do, Chief. And I appreciate what you have done. But lack of communication is been tough on us, the civilian. You citizens, you want us to respect you, you want us to have you back, provide information. It's fine with us, all this organization. Not everybody has the time. Same with the city council. Not everybody got the time to be a 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Not everybody can. Probably because we got people sick in the family that we have to take care of. We got grandkids or we got kids that have to take care of. Communication. The city got a great channel during the council meeting. Let the chancellor chief use it so he can provide to us. I'm chief of police. This is my plan. I'm a chief of the fire department. This is one. I'm the city manager. This is our plan. I need your support as a citizen. Talk to us, citizen. The one who pays salaries, the one that votes for you, I vote for you because you was ex-military and I know where they come from. I'm hurt. Day and night, see this woman crying. Day and night crying for their daughter that we lost. And have nobody had the decency to call me to let me know. To let me know they're working. Because like I told you, Chief, I called the detective and I got this nothing. Until I told the newspaper reported in April 7th, the day that my daughter is born, we will suddenly have to go from here. And I told you, Chief, communication. Let me know that you work in my case like I told the police when I called. And he gave me the bad attitude. You know what about laughing at went through my mind? Hell with the police. Because I told the guy, I need to talk to the detective. I need to know what's the case of my daughter. I know I have all the cases. But we don't know. How many of you guys know how many cases have sold?
None.
How many know you guys know how many cases are working in our city? We understand. The people come from other places.